Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Virgins in the Village, a Sex and the City watch-along podcast with two registered virgins.
My name is Alex Pittner, and I'm here for the sex.
And my name is Hayden Hartrick. I'm here for the city.
Oh. Oh no. Who's this?
We're here for the city.
What did I shit everything?
And we're discussing Season 1, Episode 10, The Baby Shower.
Oh, you got sexy.
Yeah.
You went from the worst to sexy. Yes.
Yes. Alex, I got a question for you.
What's that?
Before we get into the episode.
Of course.
Before we get into the episode?
Okay.
But this is before the episode starts.
Before.
What's the episode about?
This episode is written by Terry Minsky and directed by
Terry McGinnis from Spider-Man?
Oh no. Terry Minsky from Spider-Man.
Uh-huh.
And it was directed by Susan Seidelman.
Susan Seidelman from Batman Beyond?
Sure. This episode begins with all the characters receiving an invitation to a baby shower from their old friend Lainey. No one is excited, save for Charlotte. Lainey was a huge party person back in the college days, and she has a rivalry with Samantha. We see a flashback scene where she goes topless at a party. Before heading to the baby shower, Carrie realizes that she is late. At the baby shower, we learn that Lainey stole Charlotte's secret baby name. Shayla.
That's crazy, man.
They leave the party and they talk about what Carrie is going to do if she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Later, Samantha throws a "I don't have a baby" shower, which Lainey crashes. Lainey attempts to do the party trick from earlier and no one is into it.
By party trick, you mean pulling out her tits, right?
By going topless, yeah. That ends up actually being a really heartbreaking scene, in my opinion.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
And also, Carrie is not pregnant, so...
Woo!
Woo! That's the episode.
That was the episode.
Yeah.
It was an episode.
Yeah, it was.
It truly was. I think I wrote, more about this episode than I have a lot, but I still feel like there's not, a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was an episode where, a lot happened, but it didn't feel like a lot happened, you know?
I agree, yeah.
There were some good lines, but it felt like the overall plot felt very short and just drawn out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what it was? It's just occurred to me right now. This is the first episode where all of the girls have been in the same A plot. There hasn't been a B or C plot, really.
I was about to throw out there that my favorite character this episode was Samantha, and I believe last week we talked about how we were like, I think Samantha's at her best when she's with the rest of the girls, not doing her own plot.
And that was so true, because
yeah.
Samantha was really good this episode.
If Samantha is like this going forward a lot in the show, I would not be surprised if Samantha becomes my favorite character.
I don't think anyone's going to top Miranda for me. Even though Samantha has some great lines, I do have a note here that's Miranda just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I actually wrote down several times, I want Miranda to be my friend in real life so bad.
Yes. Yes, please.
I liked at the beginning of the episode how they showed each character's reaction to getting the letter.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that was a really fun way just to reveal stuff about the characters.
Because we also talked about last week how we were feeling like Charlotte wasn't the really taking on the odd one out persona a lot, but now this time she really felt like she was the odd one out.
Yes.
I did really say because they introduced Lainey at a party, right?
Yes.
Show the party where she strips,
yes.
right? And I was just I don't think this episode really, for a few moments, really didn't frame the main cast in a good light. Because during that party, they were just standing at the back making fun of somebody.
Yeah, I wrote down, I was legitimately, let me find my note, at one point I just wrote down, geez, the main cast wanted this person to start doing heroin. And then I wrote down, stop shaming this poor girl.
Yeah.
And then I was like, give her a damn break, please.
Yeah. Because Lainey is like the best written guest character that has come on.
Oh my, yes.
She had such like a relatable arc.
Yeah.
Like, cause the whole episode, throughout it, she first starts out and you're like, oh, she's just a pregnant woman that used to party. But when she comes back and crashes Samantha's thing, she goes up to try to take her tits out, and she just can't do it. And Carrie walks her to the cab, and there's a whole conversation where she's like, I'm not the same person I used to be. I just wish somebody would have told me. I wish somebody would have warned me that I'm going to change. Because I want to be that person.
Lainey was a great character, and something... Lainey is a character that made me feel conflicted, and I feel like that was the intention of the writing. Like with Skipper, I don't think the intention in the writing with Skipper is to make me feel conflicted or anything. But with Lainey, I was, because like on the one hand, like I truly felt bad for her. Like that scene where she's talking to Carrie and when she's at the party, is like so heartbreaking of like someone who's lost themselves, right? And so on the one hand, and people are like saying, they're talking so much shit about her, and so on that end I'm like really sad for her and rooting for her, but at the same time she's also like really mean to the gals too. Like like the whole thing with Charlotte's baby was like so fucked up.
The Lainey explicitly stole Charlotte's baby name and then lied to her about it.
Exactly. Which, I want to talk about that scene real quick.
Yeah.
That's my favorite scene that happened this episode.
It's my favorite Samantha line that's happened probably all season.
Yeah, definitely top 5 moments in the entire show for me, if not my favorite, because we get to see the polar opposites of Samantha and Charlotte still be friends.
Yeah.
And like it's just so nice like to see, even when Charlotte is the odd one out, like as everyone else is complaining,
Samantha still defends her.
As soon as she needs
because the
help,
scene goes, Samantha or Charlotte is confronting Lainey and it's like, you stole my baby name, and she's like, I'm sorry, I guess my husband just heard it somewhere else.
And then Samantha walks in and Samantha's like, what's going on? Charlotte goes, she stole my baby name.
And not missing a beat, Samantha goes, you bitch!
Yes.
And then they leave.
Chews on it for half a second just to look over at Lady. You bitch! Yeah, and I loved that moment because that was just like... I wrote down that Samantha seems like a great friend to have when you're backed against the wall.
Yeah.
You know, like, that scene just really touched my heart. Like, I just think that this was a good episode. Like, not from, like, it was funny standpoint, although it was funny, but, like, from, like, the standpoint of I just felt like it was a legitimately good episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think it was a well-written episode. I don't know if it was my favorite episode, because I was a little bit bored at times. Because
yeah, I agree.
The episode, okay, tell me if I'm crazy here. But was the episode oddly quiet?
I did not notice that.
Like, there was a lot of just, like... not silence, but just like there wasn't music underlying a lot of the episode. It was just a lot of just existing noises. Like it really felt like somebody else was creating the show. Like this episode didn't feel like an episode of Sex and the City.
I can kind of vibe with that actually.
Yeah. Which is I think what made it kind of good and kind of interesting and made me write a lot about it. But it didn't feel like an episode of Sex and the City. It felt like its own thing that just had characters from Sex and the City. Yeah.
I did not notice the noise, although I don't doubt you. Though I will say the only thing I did is I feel the very beginning of the episode. I believe my first note is the jazz at the beginning, like as they're all opening the letters, is dope. Like I fucked with that.
That's I believe. Yeah. Isn't that the same? They usually have music underlying Carrie's opening monologue, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But if it's the same track every time, at least this was the first time that I noticed it and was like fucking vibing with it. Yeah.
They did also have a really good line at the very beginning that got brought back in a wonderful way, and then got brought back in an even more wonderful way that made me wish they hadn't brought it back for the first time. Because in the opening, Lainey is making out with a dude on the couch, and Samantha says if she fucks on that couch, she buys it. And then Carrie responds, "Isn't that how you got it from me?"
Yeah.
Which I love.
And then that line like echoes throughout the episode.
Yeah,
into different points.
in the final scene, when the final party scene, she Miranda is making out with a guy on a couch, and they say that line, and then Lainey comes in and sits down on the couch.
He buys it.
Yeah, and then she's like, then they say, with Lainey on the couch, fully pregnant, says, if you give birth on that couch, she buys it. So I wish they wouldn't have said the Miranda line, because I just think the full circle callback by just, instead of calling our attention back to... I know it's... I don't want to sit here and analyze jokes, but I'm saying I wish they would have... I think the second, like the give birth line would have had a lot more punch if they would have just not reminded us of it before it happened.
I kind of disagree. I liked how they did it.
Sure.
And I think maybe I like that because for the context of the characters, like they haven't said that line in their real lives, like since they were in college or whatever. But I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the rivalry between Samantha and Lainey may be my favorite part about this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take a second to talk about when they're going to the baby shower, they have gifts ready for the baby shower. And they're like, Samantha, what did you get? And Samantha pulls out a huge bottle of alcohol, which of course Lainey can't drink because she's pregnant. And then she's like, oh, Miranda, what did you get her? Miranda goes, condoms. And she's like, no, for real. She's like, yeah.
Pastel condoms.
Pastel condoms.
Which is funny to me to think, like, I think that's it's such a fun gift for a baby shower. Mm-hmm. If I ever throw a baby shower, Alex, you gotta give me pastel condoms.
Okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Further thing, quick moment in this episode that I thought was badass as fuck is when they get out of the car and they're about to walk into the house for the baby shower and they all take off their sunglasses at the same time.
I didn't even notice that.
That was fucking cool. When they get to the baby shower, great exchange with the rivalry.
Yeah, because she says, Lainey, they come in and Samantha open the doors and Lainey's like, and she's like, you're so huge. And then Lainey's like, oh yeah, I can eat anything I want. Are you jealous?
And so Samantha, which makes it seem like Samantha came at her.
Like
and
that's
then,
the right hook, you know?
Then fucking Lainey deflected. And then later, Samantha's like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to go have a big drink. Jealous? And then Samantha walks off and I was like, yes.
I think that was the line we both like audibly laughed at, or there was another line we both audibly laughed at. I can't remember what it was.
I definitely audibly laughed at that one.
I do want to talk about something because I wrote down here.
Oh, I think I actually remember what we.
Oh, what was it?
The second one, when they're at the baby shower.
Yeah.
They're talking to this lady about her kid, and she goes, "I love my little Andy. He's 11 months old. He's a god, and I tell him that every day."
I was actually about to bring up that same woman.
And we both started laughing, and my note was, Andy is gonna hurt a lot of people.
Yeah. Andy's mom, and she just came out of nowhere, unprompted, and said that. Like, I wrote down earlier, it's a joke. I wanted to do a bit where I was like, they talk about the motherhood taking people, and it's like, it's a group of aliens. No, they, like, drove that point home. Because if somebody came up to me and just said that, and then walked away like that woman did, I would think they weren't human.
Yeah.
Like, when you did that to me, and you just said, my son's a god, and he will inherit the earth. And then you just...
He will inherit the earth. What the fuck are you trying to do right now?
I'm not trying to...
Shut the fuck... Sorry. No, I'm not.
We can't cut this out of... We can't cut this out of the podcast, Alex. If you're going to say something, this is going on the recording.
Listen.
Right?
I am the herald of a god. I am the one that comes before to pave the way for Tanner.
Tanner?
I'm sorry, you laughing?
I am laughing at you. You named the god Tanner.
He named himself. For he is the creator. You fucking... Sorry. Moron.
Uh-huh. You tell me this every time you walk into my house, and I'm starting to think you're not human.
I have to remind you.
Yeah, I'm starting to think you're not human.
Yeah, I'm beyond. I was chosen. I was selected. I was handpicked to be the father of the god of this world.
It's weird that you...
Tanner.
It's weird that you treat him like the dog, and you put an electric collar on him, and you have an electric fence that goes around.
Yeah, I have to make him strong.
Yeah.
All right, only through the fires of struggle can we persevere to turn into something strong. All right, I mean, it's the moth from Lost. All right,
your son is the moth. Your son is a moth.
Yeah,
with a cocoon.
Okay, let's pause.
Okay, I'm pressing pause.
Does Tanner have moth-like features? Yes.
Yes. Weirdly enough, he has wings.
Yes, I'm not denying
that. Which, again, makes me think you're not human.
I'm not denying that.
Okay.
Does he fly around?
Yes.
Yes.
He's outside in the window right now.
I know. I know.
I don't know how you're not uncomfortable with that.
He's not taking too kindly to this shit, and you know what?
I see. His eyes are glowing right now.
Yes, because he is a moth. All 6 of them are fucking glowing right now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry. I hate to say this. Bow down.
I'm not going to bow.
Bow down.
Look, your son just killed our guest for this week, which was President Abraham Lincoln. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask him to leave.
You fucking idiot. You think you can tell someone to leave their own domain? I don't tell you to leave your own house.
You do every time you walk in. You say, my son will take over.
Well, yeah, because I want you to leave. I don't like hanging out with you.
So what would you do if I got a nude portrait of myself while pregnant and put it in the bathroom?
I literally wrote down the same thing. There's a part of the episode, y'all, where they walk into the bathroom at the baby shower, and hanging above the toilet is a nude photo of Lainey. She is covering her breasts. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get one commissioned.
Actually, Hayden.
Yeah?
I know you said that you had a surprise for me this episode, but I actually have a surprise for you.
No way.
Yes way.
You're pulling it up from under my bed now?
I am.
Oh my gosh.
I really got it commissioned.
I cannot believe
it's
you got the baby bump so perfect.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I would look like
if
I was
naked,
pregnant.
you're covering your balls.
Dude, I'm going to put this on Twitter right. Oh no, I put it directly over the candle and it burned away into ash.
I worked so hard on that.
I know, I'm sorry.
Do you know how difficult it was to do the pose of you tastefully covering your balls,
I mean,
but your shaft is out?
You see me tastefully cover all the time, man.
Ba-da-ba-ba-do, Hayden, what's your next point?
My next point is... Jerry, no! Exclamation point.
Who's Jerry?
You don't remember Jerry?
That's you watching Seinfeld? Jerry, no! Don't go in there, Jerry!
No, it was the scene. Jerry? It was the scene where they were sitting on the porch. I don't remember what it was. Miranda.
Oh my gosh!
Miranda and Carrie were sitting on the porch having a conversation, and then Carrie gets hit by a Nerf ball, not a Nerf bullet, a ball, like one of the ball launcher guns, and it hits her, and then you hear in the background, Carrie, no!
The sad thing,
and that tickled my fancy.
Actually, the sad thing about that, if you watch because peek behind the screen, y'all. The way we do this is
we're both fully nude, tastefully covering our balls, leaving our shaft out.
But when we finish, we watch the episodes together, and then Hayden will go up to set up audio equipment, and I'll stay down and do the summary and stuff. But I watched the director's commentary, and the Jerry, no, that wasn't actually part of the episode. What had happened there was a kid named Jerry actually drowned in the script.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's where that creepy pasta Jerry Drowned comes from.
Yeah, that's where Jerry Drowned comes from.
Yeah. Alex, I have to do something to you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
I gotta do something you explicitly asked me not to do.
Oh, no.
So Miranda abused her dog as a kid. Alex looked over at me so Miranda, they're talking about like not being good moms, and Carrie's like, I shaved my Barbie's head when I was angry at her, and Miranda's like, I put a rubber band around my dog's snout. And then Carrie like looks at her, and then Alex turned to me and says, I don't want to bring this up on the podcast. I want Miranda to be perfect.
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
Because that made me really
do we want to break that down a little bit?
No.
Oh well, I think we gotta break that down a little bit.
If you want to, go for it.
So that's just like dog abuse. Don't do that. That's all I wanted to say.
Broken down.
But yeah, Miranda. Honestly, if any character was going to, as a child, put a rubber band around a dog's snout, it would be Miranda. That was the second time dog abuse was referenced in this episode.
I was about to say.
Because there's the rubber band moment, and then also
shock collar.
Janie dog had a shock collar around it, and it ran out to go meet and greet Charlotte. And it couldn't get to Charlotte because it got shocked. And like they put a lightning sound effect, like a brutal sound effect.
Not only that, but Miranda was very supportive of that. So I think that Miranda might just be pro animal abuse.
Yeah, it was also really weird when after the credits rolled, they cut to Cynthia Nixon. She said, I'm Cynthia Nixon and this is Jackass, and then she punted a chihuahua across New York.
She's so fucking strong.
Yeah. That's not funny.
It was so crazy how and I don't know if you know, because I didn't get it growing up, but seeing this episode, I now get it.
Yeah, that weird time that a chihuahua flew across New York. Nobody got that.
Also, if you watch Bolt to the very end, the very end of Bolt, you see Bolt and the little girl playing on the farm, and then Cynthia Nixon comes in with a fucking Negan baseball bat covered in barbed wire and just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, it was also really weird because I rewatched Old Yeller recently. Yeah. And Cynthia Nixon,
oh my gosh,
there's a hard cut for a frame. You see that Cynthia Nixon is actually the one holding the shotgun.
It's so
I don't
weird.
Want to perpetuate the rumor that Cynthia Nixon abuses animals.
Well, I don't want to do it either, but if you watch behind the scenes of Marley and Me, you can see Cynthia Nixon not as an actor in that movie, but as a DP.
Yeah, you remember
but
that
she'll keep dropping little quote unquote treats for the dogs playing Marley, the titular character in the film, and the little dogs will eat it up, and then 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, an hour later, those dogs are just dropping like flies.
Yeah, I think it actually makes a lot of sense now. Because you remember A Dog's Purpose was actually directed by Cynthia Nixon.
That actually, speaking of, it's crazy that you'd bring that up, because that reminds me, actually, so when they wrapped the shooting for Hotel for Dogs, there's actually several pictures of Cynthia Nixon fleeing the scene, and no one saw any of those dogs again.
Yeah, I actually saw another picture with Cynthia Nixon with a comically large box with a push thing that says TNT on it, pushing it down, and the Hotel for Dogs exploding in the background. Do you think this technically counts as slander against Cynthia Nixon?
I hope not.
I hope not either. Don't sue us, Cynthia Nixon. We're just little comedian boys. We don't think you actually abuse animals.
That actually... I'm so surprised that you bring that up, because it jostled a little part of my memory. I don't know if you remember.
I don't. Not anymore.
No, I was just going to reference that if you actually read the novel Because of Winn-Dixie, that's a book that's kind of popular because Winn-Dixie doesn't die at the end. But if you read it all the way to the credits, there's actually a paragraph that talks about Cynthia Nixon fucking shoving a toothpick in Winn-Dixie's eyes.
Cynthia Nixon shot my dog.
Tough titties, mate.
Oh.
So there's a part of the scene where Miranda talks about how the witch in Hansel and Gretel is misunderstood.
That was the Jerry No scene.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, imagine you get your dream house, and then some kids come over and start eating it. And
that happened to me. Get over it.
Yeah, true. It does happen to you.
I did want to. Speaking of kids, Carrie did something I thought was really weird this episode. You just went to watch kids play. Like, she did that. She went to a park and sat on a bench and watched children play.
Yeah. It was pretty weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just a weird thing, and it's, yeah.
I think
don't watch children play.
Yeah. I think that might have been a sly reference to her other work. If you watch Little Rascals, every scene where the Little Rascals are, like, palling around, you can see her in the background, and she's just, like, watching them.
And if you look further in the background, you see Cynthia Nixon kicking a dog.
Yeah, there is. You know what's crazy? Is the other day, actually, I went to Target.
Yeah.
And I was, like, getting groceries, and actually fucking Spot, like, the Target, like, dog, like, the poster dog, like, they had, like, an exhibition. It was, like, Santa, almost.
All right, I know where this bit's going.
Really?
Yeah.
Cynthia Nixon force-fed it chocolate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know.
She said, Happy Easter.
Oh. Charlotte baby gift. That's what I wrote down. I'm trying so hard to segue, because I keep trying to, like, segue us out of the Cynthia Nixon hates dogs bits, and it's like a black hole. It keeps pulling us in.
It's so, like,
Alex,
strange that you would bring that up.
So Charlotte, this episode, they're at during the scene before they leave. Charlotte comes running around the corner with a massive, like, baby carriage thing.
A Bellini baby carriage.
A Bellini. To comment on that? I threw a ball, a soft pitch, right to you. It's right down the middle, and I need you to crack it out of the park, Alex.
I said it was a Bellini.
Yeah, I know. You gotta add to that. I went Bellini, and now it's your turn. This is where it says in the script you're supposed to say your line, Alex.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, these podcast episodes are scripted.
Another moment that made me sad was when Charlotte opened up her dream chest, and
that was weird.
Which it was weird to have, I suppose.
It was so weird that that's just something that was just introduced this episode.
That said, I honestly, as soon as they were like, it's Charlotte's, like, I was like, that seems like something Charlotte would do, and I was just on board.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a vision board,
I guess I'm just used to, like, really, really good, like, TV that ties in with itself, that I felt like that was something that, like, should have been referenced at some point in another episode of the series. But again, that's not what this show is, and I shouldn't expect it out of this show. I just thought it was weird to bring it up, and it just didn't feel real to me.
To me, I felt like it's like if they were like, oh, Carrie has a vision board, it'd be like, cool. But nope, the heartbreaking thing is she opens it up, and, like, the big thing in there is she has a little pillow for her daughter Shayla, and then she, like, throws it away because she doesn't.
She also has pictures of two guys.
Yeah,
it's like her dream man and her backup dream man,
which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, it's really cool that you actually were the backup dream man.
You know, I was proud to be in it.
Proud to be an American.
The only reason
at least I know I'm free.
I'm not proud to be American, and that's real. I actually only got to be in the episode because actually, like, I walked in to, like, a shoot, you know.
Yeah.
And Cynthia Nixon was there. And when I say I walked into a shoot, I mean I walked into, like, a pound to adopt a pet, and Cynthia Nixon had a gun, and I saw some things.
Circle wipe. That was the weird editing thing that happened this episode.
I didn't even notice.
I am trying every time. It's like a corner, and I see it, and it's like we're about to drive off a cliff, and I keep trying to yank the wheel, but we're on a square cliff, so every direction I go is going off a cliff that is just a pit of dogs with Cynthia Nixon on top of them. No,
it's
Alex,
so
you
weird.
just snapped.
It's like
I want to talk about the circle wipe. Because there was a couple of other, like, Star Wars-like wipes that happened throughout the episode. Like, who is editing these transitions?
George Lucas.
George Lucas? George Lopez from Hotel for Dogs.
George Lopez, the director of Star Wars. Speaking of
Star Wars. I was
gonna say dog movies.
Speaking of Star Wars, do you have anything else to add about the episode?
It's tangentially related to the episode.
All right, Alex. If you do a Cynthia Nixon dog bit, I'm going to grab the nearest. I'm going to reach my hand out to the left, and whatever I grab, I'm going to throw it at you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have a couple things.
Okay. One,
the bottle that Samantha is pouring at her I don't have a baby shower is the same bottle she was supposed to gift to Lainey.
No, that was scotch. She was pouring champagne.
I thought it looked like the same bottle.
It was a green bottle. I don't think it was the same bottle.
I think it was, at the very least, it was a green bottle with a yellow label. I'm going to believe that it was, because that's funny.
That would be weird.
Samantha hates Lainey.
Yeah, but it's scotch. She bought her scotch.
She can drink scotch.
No, but you don't... she was pouring champagne.
Pouring champagne?
Yes.
That actually...
No.
It's crazy you'd bring up a meal. You did this to me. Speaking of meals, like one of the most, like, cinematically famous meals of all time is from Lady and the Tramp. And I don't know if you know this, but... So the animators actually wanted a reference to draw for the spaghetti scene, and I caught it, and Hayden's assaulting me, and actually the dogs in the spaghetti scene, the ones that they used for reference to draw it, there were these two dogs eating spaghetti, and they finished the art, and they were like, okay, we did it, we're done. Hayden's throwing things at me. And Cynthia Nixon was like, actually, let's have them keep eating the spaghetti. And they were like, what? And then Cynthia Nixon, like, for lack of a better term, she made it so that the dogs choked on the spaghetti and both of them died. Hayden's gonna hurt me. Hayden just picked up a metal object. Linear one.
So, Alex, we don't have, Oh, I guess I'm not talking towards the mic. We're in my room right now. We don't have... Yeah.
Are you transitioning?
Yeah, I'm transitioning.
Can I do one more point?
Yes. Is it a Cynthia Nixon dog joke?
It's not.
Okay.
But the fact that you brought that up...
No.
I won't this time. When Lainey gets into the cab... Carrie just goes, take her to Connecticut, which first is way too vague for a cab driver. Secondly, NYC to Connecticut, that's over 2 hours of a drive.
That's an expensive cab.
So that's an expensive cab, and Lady really wanted to crash that party.
Yeah. I don't know what you... Yeah, because that would have been like...
Yeah.
Both ways. I don't know. What's cabs rates?
So that depends. If you are just going to short distance,
what's your cabs rates?
Obviously it's going to be cheaper, but if you pay the cab driver to run over your neighbor's dog, a la Cynthia Nixon, it's going to be a little more expensive.
I have to give you that one. That one is good. Yeah, so, we still don't have any more emails. No. If you want to email us, because we're moving on to our Virgin segment, I think we're just about done talking about the episode. If we keep going on the episode, it's just going to be dog jokes. Do you want to tell everybody what you just did?
No, because I did it because it was so not funny that it was funny. I held a pencil over my groinal region, and I pretended to, like it was my, for lack of a better word, phallus, which is a penis, shaft-wise, and I, not like the movie or the titular character Shaft from the film Shaft, but like my penile shaft, and I pretended to jerk off with 2 fingers.
So... We don't have any emails. If you would like to email us, he's still doing it.
No.
If you would like to email us, it is virginsinthevillage@gmail.com.
Uh-huh.
But in lack of no emails, friend of the podcast, Brett Owen, actually bought us some stuff.
No way.
So I'm going to pull that out now. And Alex,
Brett!
I want you to tell us what you see.
I'm going to cry. No.
Alex, what's that you're holding right now?
Brett, I just want to say, Brett, that I love you so much. And this is so... I am holding the novel Sex and the City written by Candice Bushnell. Do you have another copy? No fucking way. The complete second season on DVD. Brett, you are my shining star.
Brett told me about that last night after Jest Quest because he is one of our wonderful jesters on Jest Quest, and I went and he picked it up from him today. He bought that for us because he watches the podcast. So Brett, thank you so much for watching the podcast, and thank you so much for these gifts. I want to just open up to a random page and give a little quick excerpt, if that's all right.
Great. Actually, before you do that, or as you do that, I just want to say this. In previous episodes, we nominated my sister as the queen of the podcast. And I would like to say in this moment, Brett, you are the king of this podcast.
Whoa.
You stand above. This is so nice of you, for real, Brett.
It truly is. I was floored when he said he had gotten us stuff.
Oh, this is so nice.
All right, here's a bookmarked page, I guess. That looks like a bookmark. half the page is... Ooh! This seems good.
Cynthia Nixon grabbed the dog by its tail.
This is called, quote, Ivana Trump's butler. You like hanging out with the bone in his apartment? It reminds you of when you were 16 in your own small town in Connecticut, and you used to hang out with this guy who was really beautiful, and you'd smoke pot, and your parents would think you were riding off on your horse. They'd never know the truth. You look out his window and at the sunlight, and the back's the tatty little brownstones. I wanted to have kids ever since I was a kid, the bone says, in my dreams. Or it's my dream, excuse me. That's all we're going to give for right now. Yeah. I don't know who the Bone is, and I hope we meet him. Is Bone Mr. Big?
No way.
Stanford
Welcome to this new podcast where we listen in silence as Hayden reads it.
But yes, we will do something with this book. It will probably get its own episode devoted to it.
Yes, we will.
A long episode. And now we have the second season to watch on DVD.
On DVD. This is
thank you so
cool.
much, Brett.
Genuinely, I love
you are now the king of the podcast, but you can still be dethroned. Give us gifts, audience.
This is the second time that you've attacked our audience. You threatened our friend. And you attacked me this episode.
I warned you.
I want to read the short
Alright, you want to read an excerpt from Sex and the City?
The nanny camera. That's all you're getting from... Hayden just died on the podcast.
Oh, so virgins.
Hayden,
We're virgins.
What have you brought to the segment, Virgin-wise, this weekend?
Gosh, I'm Abraham Lincoln. I
thought my son killed you.
Yeah, he tried, but so did that other guy. I can't even remember his name.
You're so
He was
British.
A shite actor.
Yes, he was.
Alex, why don't you go first? I'm still thinking.
So, part one of my Virgin segment this week is something I did last week, and I'm going to keep doing it, baby. The song of the week.
Woo!
This week.
Play it for us, baby. No, not on the podcast. Just play it like with the piano that's behind you.
Ding. Sorry, that was the elevator that's behind me.
What's the song? Just tell us about the song.
The song is called...
It's called?
It's called Pound Cake, Paris Morton Music by Drake. It is off of the album Nothing Was the Same. And we're going to specifically hammer the last part of Paris Morton Music, because that's not usually the part that's talked about, because the Pound Cake part is Jay-Z, and it's really good. But the whole song is really good. One of the most iconic hip-hop beats of the 2010s, if not of all time. Second thing I want to bring to the table is One Piece. I have been reading One Piece. I am around the 120 mark. For those of you who know One Piece, I'm currently at Little Garden. And I just want to say that I know that One Piece is a very intimidating property, being that it has
it's like 1,000 issues, right?
1,000 issues of manga, about 1,000 episodes of anime.
Oh my gosh.
And I just want to say, I know it's intimidating, but there is a reason that it has not been canceled, or that it has not, there's a reason it hasn't gone away, and that's because it's so good. It's made me cry 3 times. It is truly, in my opinion, a very special story. Everyone talks about how, you gotta get to Arlong Park, and I agree. I cried when I read it, and then I watched the anime adaptation, both dub and sub, the other day, and they made me cry at different times. That said, I don't like maybe I'm being an asshole, but the voice that I had for Arlong in my head was better than the ones that they chose for that show. But it's just truly a special story, and it is just great. And I know how intimidating it is, but maybe, just maybe, give it a shot.
Eventually I do plan on watching One Piece. I'm still kind of... I don't have time right now to start any new projects. I'm still just trying to keep up with stuff like Invincible and things like that.
Yeah.
But eventually I plan on reading it.
By the way, One Piece, Arlong Park, I know this is a lot, but episode 38 is towards the end of Arlong Park, and that's the episode that made me baby by cry time.
Waluigi just walked into the room for a second.
Yeah.
And then he turned around and left, and Alex didn't skip a beat.
Waluigi walked in, showed us a text that he got from his now ex-girlfriend, and went, wah! And then he left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that all you want to talk about with One Piece? That wasn't words, Alex.
Thoughts, though?
I thoughts on One Piece?
On the song.
I think it's good.
Thanks.
I think it could use a bit more pirates. Oh, are you leaving? Are you leaving? Alright. So everybody, Alex just left the podcast. So now this is just the City podcast, where I just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about for the whole time. So we're going to go right into my Virgin segment. In my Virgin segment, I want to talk about map making. Now, I have been working, as many of you know, I am the DM of a little D&D stream called Jest Quest. It's a very lot of fun, and it takes place in a world of my own creation entitled Delior. Oh, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Alright. Alright. You gonna sit down?
Maybe.
Alright. You can stand up if you want.
I don't think so.
Alright. Now this is back to the Virgins in the Village podcast. It was just the Village podcast for a while. I messed up that bit. I feel like a dunce.
Zayden.
Uh-huh.
What have you... Sorry.
You do realize this is...
What have you brought for your Virgin segment?
For everybody listening on audio, which is everybody listening, Alex was doing a character with... It was a pair of pants that is talking because he's pantsless.
Pants!
Tastefully covered.
Except for my shaft.
For my Virgin segment, if you were actually, here, because I already kind of started talking to the audience about it.
I believe I heard outside the door that
I want to talk about map making.
Okay.
It's a very, I feel like it's kind of a more nerdy thing, and our Virgin segment obviously is kind of in flux, but I have been making a map for a continent known as the Six Kingdoms in the world of Delioros. I've been working on this map for a while. I had a version of it, and I wanted to just completely rehash it because I didn't like the way it looked. So I've been using a map-making software, and I've been making map. And one of the interesting things about map-making is, at least my process with it, especially for fantasy map-making, is you make shit, and then you justify it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, okay, why is this border like this? and you have to come up with reasons for why the border looks like that, and then that builds into the lore. Like you have like I had like 2 roads leading from a city into another kingdom, and it's like, okay, why are those located there? And it's one of those interesting things where it's like, map making, obviously you have to do like real world research in it, and I look at like, you know, real world maps, and you do research into like how are borders drawn in like real worlds, and a lot of them, you know, like follow rivers or follow mountain ranges or follow desert. Like there's a lot of things that it's like just simply making borders helps you immensely with making maps, you know, because you draw a border and then it's really easy once you have a border to figure out
like why is it there,
and then you have like cities, and I have a bunch of different cities, and in my own personal map that I'm using, I have a few different icons that denote how big the cities are. So you have, and then so now I can like look at these cities and just quickly be like, okay, this city is a this size city, so I can kind of plan stuff like this for it, you know, like I have the city that the party is currently in, you know, it has its own icon, and then there's another city with that same icon, and then I can kind of like decide on why that city is so small. Yeah. And it just, having a map and looking at a map helps with world building so much.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like a good map.
Yeah.
I like when fantasy books have a map at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like my favorite, the Bible. I'm just kidding. I love you. Anyone listening, if you are Christian, and if you're not.
Yeah, I just love you generally.
Yeah.
My Bible didn't have a map at the beginning. Or are you just talking about like a real world map of Israel?
No, I'm talking about like the Bibles that I had growing up at my Christian school.
Oh yeah.
I attended. Yeah, there would be like, and it would be maps of like the areas at the time type of deal. So yeah, it was just like a lot of maps of like Samaria and you know, like Israel and stuff.
You ever have one of those like comic book Bibles?
Yeah, I did.
Those always perplex me.
Boom! Pow! There's a lot of times where that would be so inappropriate. Like, I'm afraid to get into this because I don't want to be attacked by the Lord or any Christians.
Well, I mean, I think when you're having like the story of like Abraham sacrificing his son, that shouldn't be drawn in a graphic novel, you know?
Just like the story where that lady puts the nail through the king's head while he's asleep. It's like, thwap!
It's like, man, I'm glad Robert Kirkman drew this comic.
I'm so glad that Robert Kirkman drew the Bible.
Alex?
Yes.
What if we take this book here I'm holding right here?
Sex and the City
by Candace Bushell.
Or Bushnell.
Bushnell. Candace Bushnell. Carrie Bradshaw.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
if you're doing a bit, that legitimately blew my mind.
Yeah, no, like that. I was gonna do a bit about saying we should take this Sex and the City book and make it a graphic novel, but then like
that. Well, because
is she called Carrie in the?
I don't know if I don't want to blow up your spot, but you sent me like a fan fiction you wrote, and the main character was named Braden Lartsnick, and I just kind of caught on that that's like your name. Braden Lartsnick.
I'm sorry, I was phased out because I was reading. Can you like redo this bit for me?
It's the best content a podcast can have. I said, because you sent me you're reading again.
I'm sorry, what?
You told me to redo it, and as soon as I started talking, you went like fully into the book. Are you reading the foreword? Jeez, man. I said it's kind of like, yeah, you're reading. You're enveloped in a novel.
I'm listening.
It's kind of like how you sent me the fan. Are you asleep? That was so fast. Yeah, you're closing the book, but yeah, you're falling asleep on a podcast. You're laughing and you're okay. Head on the table.
This is good content.
Okay, good. I'm glad you woke up because I was about to start talking about this one time that I was in New York, right? And I'm walking down the street and like all of a sudden I hear like oh, and I was like, oh my gosh, what was that? And then I just think that it's just like a sound. And then oh, it happens again, and I like turn a corner. I turn an alleyway, and I don't know if you're familiar.
Oi, it's me, William Taft. I'm here to tell you, Alex Pittner.
Yeah, Mr. Taft.
Shut up.
All right, I will.
My gosh, that was William Taft.
Yeah, it was, and he told me to shut up. That reminded me of. So there was this one time where I was in like a district like with a lot of warehouse. It was like a warehouse on a dock that you'll see in like every superhero show, like Teen Titans and stuff. And I actually saw in the shadows Cynthia Nixon shaking hands with what I swear was Cruella de Vil.
Hi, Alex.
Hayden's leaving. Yeah, he's gone. It's hard because like I do like these bits where like Cynthia Nixon like kills all of the 101 Dalmatians. Like it's like I do it for him, and then he like leaves and then like all the dogs were like screaming, Hayden, welcome back.
I forgot my phone.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that. It's good to have you back. I was okay.
I got it.
Later, bud.
So Alex, who were you this episode?
Oh, I feel like we take turns being the one to remember because the other totally forgets. At least that's how I am.
Yeah.
This episode.
Yeah.
You know who I was this episode?
Who were you? That was the book painting on the table. I'm sorry for audio listeners.
I think I know who you were.
Okay. I don't think you know who I'm going to say.
I think I might.
Okay, tell me who you think I'm going to say.
I think who you are, I think you're Jerry.
Okay. Now, who are you?
I think that I'm the dog who got shock collared.
I am the pile of dead dogs that Cynthia Nixon keeps in the back of her Ford F-150.
Oh, you seen that?
Yeah.
I've been trying to get tickets to that forever.
Yeah.
It's crazy how she can like monetize it so effectively.
But actually though, I'm not Jerry.
You're not
Jerry? No, I'm not Jerry.
Okay, who are you?
I'm the ball that Jerry shoots at Carrie's head.
I'm the ball.
I'm Bone. I'm the Bone from book Sex City.
Start calling me Bone.
Okay, Bone.
Please don't. You did it once and I hated it. But I think I'm the dog because I rush into things excitedly only to get shocked back to reality.
Like that Eminem song.
Shout out to an artist that's never going to be the song of the week.
Do I get to do song of the week next week?
You can do Hayden's song of the week.
Alright. Alright. I think this just about concludes our podcast forever, permanently.
I think it does. It's me, Grover Cleveland. President of the United States.
Alex?
Yes?
The presidents...
Grover Cleveland.
The presidents are my bit?
What are you talking about? I did George Washington.
We're gonna have to talk about this after the podcast?
Oh, okay, real quick.
Because...
This bit started because you did a voice and I said, are you Nixon? And you were like, you couldn't remember.
Because I think I'm gonna have to cry. Because you really betrayed my trust. And I didn't want to have to do this. But I don't know if I can do a podcast with you anymore after you took my bit like that.
I want to reiterate what I already said, that the Nixon bit started...
On Grover Cleveland!
He's back!
Yay!
time.
If you want to follow us on... Dude, I'm having fun this episode.
I'm dead now.
If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at Virgin's Village. If you want to watch us on podcasting apps, they were on podcasting apps, a lot of them. I don't know what we're on right now. I don't have the list in front of me. You want to email us, that's at virginsandthevillage@gmail.com. And if you want us to read the Sex and the City book live on air in Chicago, Illinois, buy tickets to our live show coming out February 4th, 2025. Now everybody...
Okay.
Tickets on sale now for $1 billion. You just got to email us and we'll give you a ticket for free.
So you're really trying to fuck the theater out of its cash?
Yeah.
Okay.
We already paid for it.
I'm gonna try this again. Until next time.
Keep having sex.
Keep having city.
And we love you.
Love you.
Read the book. Better than the movie.